in God we trust. There is no fear. United we stand, in God we trust. There is no fear. United we stand, in God we trust. There is no fear. There is no fear.
Friends, gamblers, sports enthusiasts alike, it is time. It is finally time for a brand spanking new episode of Nall or Nothing. I'm your host, Jason Nall. Glad to be joining you again for an hour-long effort to pick some winners. That's right. We talk about all things sports through the lens of sports gambling, and boy, do we need some winners this week. I've been going through a little bit of a rough patch here in the middle of football season. Started off a little hot, kind of cooled down a little bit. Feel like we're going to get it going this week. I got my Ric Flair cap on tonight, so that means, woo! Let's pick some winners. Let's bring in our sports handicapping contributor, Big Daddy C1000. Big Daddy C, we're about the midpoint of football season. Has it been thumbs up or thumbs down for you so far this year?
It's been so-so. It ain't been spectacular, but it ain't been awful. It's just kind of been so-so, about like my picks last week, about 50%. So it's not been good, but not too bad either.
Well, I'll tell you what wasn't so-so. Let's go ahead and start the show off with this. The Tennessee Volunteers versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. Rarely does a game that gets hyped that much live up to the billing, but that game certainly did. What a ball game.
Oh, it was an incredible game. I was watching it, and we were sitting there, and we didn't see that pass interference call on that last time Tennessee scored the touchdown, and we left, and we walked to another part of the building, and next thing we know, my buddy's telling me the score is tied, and I'm saying, you're stupid. What are you doing? You're looking at the wrong one. He says, no, it's tied. I said, what are you talking about? There's no way it got tied. And then we found out there was that interference call, and it was tied, and we sat through the kick. It was awesome. It was definitely lived up to the billing it got.
Yeah, big time in Rocky Top. 15 years since the Big Orange had beat the Crimson Tide. A lot of pent-up aggression there, a lot of celebration in Knoxville on Saturday night. What'd you think about the way that game played out at the end? It looked kind of like Nick Saban wasn't used to coaching close games. He didn't know how to handle that clock and give himself a chance to win or go to overtime with a kick, right?
Yeah, well, I've talked about this with a few people. My buddy that's Alabama fan, he gives me a bad time. But I thought Nick Saban, when they had the ball in that last series before they kicked the field goal at the end of the game, they should have ran the ball once or twice and maybe picked up some yards, but at least made Tennessee use their timeouts. But my buddy was saying, no, I believe they should have ran the ball at least once or twice, made Tennessee use some timeouts. Maybe they could have got 4 or 5 yards, and it's a whole different kick. But instead, as we know, they threw the ball 3 times, stopped the clock, left Tennessee with all their timeouts, and missed a kick. So I thought it was kind of mismanagement that they didn't run the ball and make Tennessee use timeouts or just try to pick up 10 yards on the ground. So I thought that was a bad call. But one thing I want to ask you, did you see that Tennessee lineman when he threw up right there in the middle of the huddle and then he just kept going?
Yeah, so my daughter's boyfriend, Owen, was over here watching the game with us, and I was texting or something. I missed it, and he's like, oh, did you see that guy just throw up? And I'm like, no. So we rewound it and watched it. Yeah, he just threw up. The rest of the team just kept on going like nothing big happened. He just barfed right there, right in the huddle.
Oh, that was just a projectile vomit, and they just kept going. What a trooper that guy is.
Trooper. I'm your host, Jason Nall, host and founder of Nall or Nothing. We're joined by at Big Daddy C1000. That is also our Nall or Nothing Twitter handle, at Big Daddy C1000. You might be catching us on your FM dial on 101.3 The Buzz in Cleveland, Tennessee, or maybe on WNWS TV at WNWS.com. And you can always catch our Nall or Nuthin weekly program on our YouTube channel. That's Nall, Nall, or Nuthin, Nuthin apostrophe. Just search that, like and subscribe that Nall or Nuthin YouTube channel, and you'll be in business to see our take on the sports betting card each and every week. So, Big Daddy C, now Tennessee ranked in the top 5, firmly in a position to control their own destiny, to possibly go to the college football playoff, but controlling their own destiny likely means they have to win at Georgia between the hedges and then beat Alabama a second time in Atlanta at the SEC championship. What kind of chances do you give for Tennessee to run the table and make it to the playoff, or is this the shining moment for the Volunteers, this win at home over Alabama?
Well, I give them 0% chance to beat Georgia in Georgia and to beat Alabama again. I don't think they do both. They might do one or the other, but they're not going to do both. That's too hard a row to hoe right there. That's a tough undertaking. So I do think this was their big game. You know, this meant everything to them. First win in 15 years, but I don't think they can accomplish beating both of those teams.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I would say the most important win would be at Georgia. If they win at Georgia and then complete out the rest of their schedule undefeated, maybe if they were to lose a close game to Alabama in the SEC championship game, they would be the second team from the SEC to get into the playoff. But you know what? Hey, the offense is great. They can score on anybody. They proved that. Alabama hadn't had 52 points scored on them, Big Daddy season since 1907, when the College of the South scored over 52 points on Alabama. What's wrong with Alabama's defense?
Well, they probably just hit a buzzsaw on a good Tennessee offense is what happened to them.
Well, they gave up a lot of points to Arkansas. They let A&M almost steal that game last week, a week before in Tuscaloosa. I'm telling you, something is rotten in Denmark when it comes to this Alabama defense. I do not think they're a national championship quality defense. Now, the offense for Alabama absolutely is national championship quality, but defense wins championships. Tennessee nor Alabama have much of a defense, but we know those dogs in Georgia, they're built for their defense. So we'll see. It'll be interesting how it all plays out. Also in the SEC, you've got Ole Miss undefeated. They go for their biggest and first true road test this week down at LSU. Should they pull that off, they'll be undefeated going into facing Alabama. So Ole Miss thinks maybe they're still alive as well, and we'll get to that when we cover college football in the next segment. Let's grab our first break. You've caught Nall or Nuthin. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's Nall or Nuthin. I'm your host, Jason Nall. Glad to join you again this week to talk about all things sports for the weekend ahead through the lens of legal sports gambling. Our YouTube channel is Nall or Nuthin. That's Nall or Nuthin. Be sure to like and subscribe there. And you can always catch us on Thursdays on 101.3 The Buzz on your FM dial in Cleveland, Tennessee, and WNWS TV at WNWS.com. Big Daddy C, let's bring our master handicapper back in with us and let's get ready to rock and roll. First off, Big Daddy C, the good, the bad, and the ugly since we last met. The good, I love the silly season. When I say silly season, I'm talking about when it's fast and furious for us sports gamblers right now. This is the prime of the year. We've got the Major League Baseball playoffs going on, the National League Championship and the American League Championship Series. We have a little golf sprinkled in with the PGA Tour. We've got the NBA kicking it off this week. A couple of big games on Tuesday night to get it started. And then NHL, that's right. It's ice time on with the pucks on the ice. Shot, kick save, shot, body blow, shot. Let me give a shout out to my man Scotty Farrell. He's my NHL guru. And then the college football, NFL football going full bore, and it'll just be a week or so before we have college basketball going. I hope you've got that war chest full of dollar bills, Big Daddy C. You're going to need it with all this action.
Yeah, I got a few still in the old boot in there hidden, and it is a good time. There'll be action all day, every day, and different kind of action. So, yeah, it's a good time of the year right now.
Great time of the year. I love the hockey action. If you want some of the hockey picks, be sure to follow our Twitter handle. That is at Big Daddy C1000. We post our plays throughout the week on there, and as always, our plays are free to the public. Probably because that's about what they're worth. But hey, we just love to put our opinion out there. You can use it as your starting point as you do your research. But hockey season's always fun to bet with FanDuel and DraftKings and some of these other major legal sports betting options in Tennessee. You can bet shots on goal. You can bet puck lines. You can bet over-unders. You can bet will there be a goal in the first 5 minutes. Big Daddy C, the hockey action. I love the hockey action. You don't get down on that hockey like I do, though, do you?
No, I'm not too much into that hockey. It's kind of like baseball to me. It's a little slow, and I don't prefer it. But occasionally, I'll dip my toe in there. But no, it's not one of my favorites.
I love it on the ice. I love it on the ice. So we got the hockey going. We got the playoffs going. Padres. I got a big futures bet we talked about off the air. Padres, should they win the National League? It's a nice chunk for your host, Jason Nall. So let's get those Padres up. I bet them before the season started. Then you got just a classic series between the Yankees and the Astros over in the American League to determine the World Series participants. NFL, rocking and rolling. College deep into conference season now. Meaningful games every week. It's just a great time of year, and that's the good. Let's call it the silly season because you got to have a silly amount of money to bet all this stuff that's available to you right now. The good, the silly season. The bad, Big Daddy C, the bad, I'm going Russell Wilson and his group of Broncos. The biggest move in the offseason was Russell Wilson being traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. John Elway, the former great quarterback for the Broncos, now the GM, pulling the strings, making the moves, bringing in the all-pro Russell Wilson. And who has egg on their face now? It ain't Pete Carroll. It ain't the Seattle Seahawks. They got Geno Smith playing like an all-star. It is the Denver Broncos and John Elway because Russell Wilson looks slow. He looks indecisive. He's trying to be a pocket passer where Russell Wilson's success has always come out of the scramble mode. Reluctant to run, reluctant to make quick decisions and go through his reads. He's really not looked good at all. And it's the lowest scoring offense in the NFL. Denver gave him a big extension, $245 million over 5 years, most of it guaranteed. And man, oh man, they've got a mess on their hands again in Denver at the quarterback position. What about Amazon having to have Denver on every Thursday night and getting no touchdowns, Big Daddy C? Is there a worse team to watch than the Denver Broncos right now?
No, they would probably be number one. Maybe Denver, the Saints and Cardinals. It's going to be this Thursday, and I don't know. That one maybe has potential, but not one of the greatest ones either. But what a letdown Denver's been this year. They just haven't played good and haven't looked good. And Russell's just not the man. It's making those people in Seattle look like geniuses getting rid of him.
Yeah, not the man. Russell has really struggled and definitely makes them look like geniuses to have unloaded that big salary. And Geno's having a good year. In fact, what Geno can do that Russell didn't want to do and probably couldn't do very well is that run pass option. The RPO is alive and well in Seattle. They are looking to exceed their season win total and certainly exceeding expectations. The bad, the Broncos and their high dollar, all pro quarterback they traded for this offseason, Russell Wilson. Let's talk about the ugly. And the ugly, to me, it's nothing more than that 3-game parlay challenge that you put down on our other master sports handicapper, Badlands Brandon, last week. Badlands has been putting out parlays week in, week out, 3-gamers, 4-gamers, and he really hasn't gotten close to hitting one as he puts them out in the air each and every week. And you said, I'm tired of seeing this. Let me see if I can beat you by throwing darts. And so what happened? The dart throw, hitting 3 teams and putting those 3 teams in the parlay, beats Badland Brandon's in week one. Week one, the dart throw parlay hits and Badlands misses. Badlands has called in sick tonight, Big Daddy C1000. So you'll have to yell at me because it was too hot in the kitchen for Badlands. He pulled the emergency cord and called in sick tonight. Your dart throw parlay has put him down for the count.
Yeah, he's sick, all right. He's sick of losing. He's sick of putting out those horrible picks. Why don't he just start flipping himself? That guy's awful. He cannot pick his nose. I mean, the guy's incredibly bad. But yeah, that was just I just felt it. I just thought that was the week we'd throw some darts and see, and darts 1-0 and Badlands 0-7. I mean, if I was him, I probably wouldn't come on the show again the rest of my life. I mean, that's just incredibly awful. You pick 7 weeks in a row and get zilch. And first week I throw darts 3-0, winner, chicken dinner. Go back and watch last week's show. UFC, who were the other two? Colorado and Michigan.
Yep. University of Central Florida, minus 23.5. Colorado, plus 14. And Michigan, minus 7. Michigan got there fairly easily, blew them out in the second half. UCF scored 70 points, one easy. And Colorado getting 14, one outright in overtime. Rocking chair, 3-game, dart throw, parlay, takes down Badlands Brandon. And so, like I say, Badlands, I mean, knowing the beating that was coming his way, I think he opted to stay between the sheets and hide out tonight. Didn't come on the show with us. We'll be sure. Didn't even send me picks. I asked him. He's so sick he couldn't even send picks this week, Big Daddy C. Picks. Nothing from Badlands Brandon.
Yeah, that's awful. He's listening. He'll be listening. He always listens every week. He's hearing what we say. Hopefully he'll be back next week and we'll find something else to go against him. I might put a little dog food on about 20 different teams and see which little kernel of dog food my dog eats first and see if we can beat him with dog food next time he's on the show.
That's one way to go about it. We'll have to try something new. Darts definitely beats Badlands. But you were always a good dart thrower. I remember that from our days in the bars back in our 20s. All right, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly for the week. We're going to grab another quick break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You've caught Nall or Nuthin. Nall or Nuthin is brought to you by PlayTourX.org. That's College Tour X, the premier amateur golf tour in the Southeast United States. College Tour X is designed for college golfers of all levels to compete in individual events against the best college golfers in the land. And from a player's perspective, you're going to get quality tournaments and quality competition outside of your team schedule to stay sharp and be battle tested. From a fan's perspective, check out PlayTourX.org. That's PlayTourX.org for our live scoring, where you can see the best of college golf and the future pros of tomorrow going head to head with live scoring at PlayTourX.org. All right, Big Daddy C, here we go. Thursday night, kind of a weak card from a college football perspective, but we're going to start off with Georgia Tech, that Ramblin' Wreck, still without a coach, probably preparing for Freon, Dion, prime time to come over there next year. Hosting Virginia, Georgia Tech laying 3. Virginia, well, they are without Baby Tua. No, that's Maryland. Sorry. Well, Virginia is also without Baby Tua. Virginia, I took a couple of weeks ago against Duke. Duke beat the doors off of them. Georgia Tech, a 3-point favorite, over under 47. I like Georgia Tech. Virginia has showed me nothing this year. It's a home game for Georgia Tech. I'll probably put a little pizza money on Georgia Tech. Troy at South Alabama is the second game on Thursday night. South Alabama, a 3-point favorite, over under 46.5. In-state rivalry. Sometimes you lean to take the points, but South Alabama, they gave a great game in the Rose Bowl to UCLA about a month ago. UCLA had to use everything they had in the fourth quarter to pull out the win. Give me the points, though. Give me the points in the interstate rivalry game. I'll take Troy plus the 3. Friday, Tulsa and Temple, and UAB and Western Kentucky. I know Western Kentucky beat the doors off of one of your picks last week, Big Daddy C. Middle Tennessee State. Western Kentucky is everybody's darling. UAB, however, also game with just one loss in the year. Western Kentucky 1.5, 57.5. You going to beat them Hilltoppers again this week, or are you going to flip them and go with them?
No, that's just one I won't play. Like I say, I don't like trying to chase teams, and if I miss on them, I don't like trying to beat them the next week. So I'll just look through the card and find something a little better for me. I won't touch that one.
Big one at noon on Saturday. Undefeated Syracuse, the orange, go to undefeated Clemson, the other orange. Syracuse somehow has played all 6 of their games at home or on a neutral site. This is their first road game. They're catching 13.5, over under 49.5. Clemson just gliding under the radar. Looks like they're cruising toward the college football playoff. Do you see an upset here, Big Daddy C?
No, I don't see an upset, and I think they probably got this line pretty close. This is another one that I think I picked this 3 times this year, but I think you'll be able to tease this one either way. I think Clemson will win the game, but I do think it'll be right close to probably about that 2-touchdown margin. So I like Clemson to win at about the line. I would, if I were playing, I maybe would tease it either way, but I like Clemson as a winner.
All right, next up, we'll take Iowa in the Horseshoe at Ohio State, another noon kickoff Eastern. Ohio State 30.5, over under 49.5. Iowa can't score, and that's evident by this total. When you have one team favored by 30.5 points, Big Daddy C, and the total is only 49.5, that tells you a lot. So it looks like, do you think Iowa can score enough in the Horseshoe to cover that 30.5? I do not. I like Ohio State pretty good here to roll.
Yeah, I would. If I had to play this one, I would probably take Ohio State. And it looks like with that total, they're looking for Iowa maybe only score a touchdown or so. So yeah, I would. It would be Ohio State or nothing for me.
Kansas at Baylor. Kansas, one of the hottest teams in the country. They did get beat by TCU and then followed up by Oklahoma 2 weeks in a row. So after a hot 5-0 start, they're now 5-2. They're at Baylor. Wish Badlands was here. He's sick. That's his team, Baylor. He put me on a season win total of 7.5, and that looks very unlikely for Baylor now. 7.5 for Baylor at home, over under 58.5. To me, that total's low. Both these teams can score.
Yeah, I don't know. Baylor's burnt me this year just a few weeks ago, so this is another one I won't chase either way.
Cincinnati goes to SMU. SMU, pretty impressive win last week over Navy. Cincinnati, solid team, especially defensively, not as offensively powerful as those BCS buster and playoff busting teams of the last 2 years. SMU catching 3.5 at home. I'll take the Pony Express. Give me SMU. Give me the points. Skipping on down the line, one of my favorite games of the week. We're still in the morning here, 12 Eastern kickoff, Indiana at Rutgers. Let me go ahead and pop a graphic up because this is going to be a PlayTourX.org birdie play of the week from your host, Jason Nall. Rutgers is a 3-point favorite in the game, laying on a little bit extra juice, minus 120, over under 48. Give me Rutgers on the money line, and we'll find something to parlay that with if you don't want to lay that juice. maybe you can find one of your other favorite games and parlay Rutgers money line just to win the game, minus 175. I think Rutgers is a good team, and this is a big game toward their bowl eligibility. And to a team like Rutgers, and Greg Schiano, the coach there, for his second stint, a bowl is a big deal. They're going to give you everything they got in this game. Indiana is just not that good. Rutgers can win at home. Let's get rid of the points so and lay Rutgers on the money line minus 175. Miami, Florida. Um, got off the snide last week, even though they didn't cover at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is just awful, one of the bottom feeders in the ACC. Now they're at home against this hot Duke team. Duke lost a heartbreaker last week in a high-scoring affair to North Carolina. However, Duke did cover. Line's gone against Duke here. Miami opened 7.5, sitting at 9 now. Over under 58.5. Where do you see this one going, Big Daddy?
Yeah, I think this might be the end of Duke's big run. I'll take Miami if I play this one.
I think you're probably safe there. I agree. Miami should be able to get it handled and should be able to win this thing by 10 points or more, I would think. UNLV at Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to rival Stanford last week. This new coaching staff, it's been everything but easy for them in Notre Dame. No wins have come easy. This one expected to be easy. Laying 26 against an awful UNLV team. Does Notre Dame take out some frustration on UNLV this week?
Yes, they do. They finally right the ship. They'll take out some frustration and run some points up on the board. They win this one and cover.
All right, West Virginia, Texas Tech. West Virginia on the road at Guns Up, Texas Tech. West Virginia has been pretty much a disappointment for the year thus far, but it's not too late. This would be a big win if they could get it in Lubbock. I don't know. Texas Tech was able to beat Texas at home. That 6.5 line seems about right to me. Over under 65.5. You know what? I think I'm going to say guns up. Let's go Texas Tech here to get it done at home and win by more than a touchdown. Here's a big one, the 2:30 p.m. CBS game for you, 3:30 Eastern, Big Daddy C. Ole Miss at LSU. The first real road test for Ole Miss. Line opened at Ole Miss -2. It's flipped. Now LSU is -2. Over under 67.5. This LSU Helter Skelter Brian Kelly squad, are they going to hand Ole Miss their first loss of the year? Got a little delay, a little issue on the audio for Big Daddy C, so let me answer my own question there. I like LSU to stink it up. Give me Ole Miss laying the two, catching the 2. I think Ole Miss can get it handled. I don't think LSU is that good. What does scare me is you never ever know what you're going to get with this Ole Miss squad, or excuse me, with the LSU squad. They've been hot and cold all year long. I think Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss can get it handled though down in the swamp. Texas to Oklahoma State. Texas Longhorns got their starting quarterback back, playing good football. Oklahoma
Yeah, I
State
think
got their first loss of the year.
so. I lean LSU in this one. I would have to take LSU at home. Yes, I like the tie.
So Big Daddy C comes back in with a little delayed audio there, pops back up to that Ole Miss LSU game. He's the opposite side of me there. He likes LSU -2. I say not so fast. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss will keep it undefeated heading into that matchup against Alabama. UCLA at Oregon. Oregon's looked like world beaters ever since that first week when they got absolutely curb stomped by Georgia. Big Daddy C, My UCLA Bruins going up to Oregon. It's the next step toward them winning the Pac-12. They're catching 6. Who you like? Well, we still have technical difficulties with Big Daddy C1000. He's over there in Bartlett, Tennessee, in the home studio where they don't have, real internet like we have over here in Eastern Tennessee. We got this high fiber network, fast and speedy. I tell you what, his internet is letting him down tonight, and plus he's probably got those kids of his downloading the most recent version of Angry Birds over there. So let me take this one as well too. I'm sure he'll pop in a minute with some opinion, but uh, I like my Bruins. I like them getting the 6. I need them to win the game and continue their march toward a Pac-12 championship because that's what I bet at the preseason polls was UCLA to win the Pac-12. So I'm going to sit still in this game. Really just hope that UCLA can win it and and move one step closer to a Pac-12 championship, which will get me a nice little preseason bet I made on UCLA. I also have Dorian Thompson-Robinson to win the Heisman. Need a big game out of DTR. Hopefully that will happen too. We'll see. Let's go Bruins. Let's go. Purdue at Wisconsin. Wisconsin laid a big fat egg for me last week at Sparty at Michigan State. I can't bet this game. I just can't do it because of what happened last week with me having Wisconsin. They're laying 2.5. Purdue getting 2.5. Big Daddy C, if your audio's back, what do you like here in this Big Ten matchup? Well, I'll give you another bad Big Daddy C pick here. He would probably tell you he liked Wisconsin, the home team.
Yeah, what a night and day. I played Georgia thinking they had something.
All right, moving on down the line. Memphis at Tulane. Memphis at Tulane is one of my birdie plays of the week. I love Tulane here. I love them laying the 7. They are facing a Memphis team that has now, they blew a huge lead and coughed up a 20-plus point lead against Houston at home on Friday night 2 weeks ago. If you remember, Big Daddy C and his pals were at the game, had a little too much to drink, were enjoying it, and next thing they knew, Memphis had blown the lead, and Memphis had lost the game. So it was a sad night for Big Daddy C and the boys in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Then Memphis comes back, gives you a big effort at Old Dominion, still couldn't get it done, losing double overtime, another heartbreaker. And I feel like this Memphis team, they've really given all they've got. They weren't that good to start with. They've lost 2 close ones, had their heart ripped out twice in a row. Tulane is good. Tulane rolls them here. Memphis can't handle the second game in a row on the road after the heartbreak of 2 close losses. Give me Tulane. That is the second half of my Play Tour X birdie plays of the week. All right. Skipping on down, Vanderbilt and Missouri, a couple of teams fighting for some respect. Missouri, a big favorite, 14 points at home against Vandy. Vandy has not shown much in the conference season at all. So we will see if Vandy can keep this game competitive. With 2 bad teams, I'd probably take the points, plus 14 with Vanderbilt. Arizona State at Stanford. Stanford off the big win over Notre Dame last week. I like Stanford. Keep it rolling. Lay the 3. Take Stanford. Hawaii over here on the mainland at Colorado State at a 4 p.m. Eastern start. A daytime game for Hawaii in the States? Nah. Give me Colorado State. Laying the 5. I'll take them. Hawaii is terrible. Moving on down, Mississippi State at Alabama, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday night. Alabama 21, still licking their wounds from the loss at Rocky Top. Over under 60.5. Give me Bully. Give me Bully plus a 21. I'm not sure Alabama can stop Mississippi State from scoring. I'll take Mississippi State and the 21 points. Texas A&M at South Carolina. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. A&M -3 on the road at South Carolina. You would have figured this line would have been upwards of 10. But A&M just not scoring, just not playing that well. Looks like a sucker bet. Give me the home team plus the 3. Big Daddy C loves Penn State in a bounce back spot. He's got Penn State laying 4 in a whiteout at home at night against Minnesota, who's reeling with 2 straight losses. Penn State first loss of the year at Michigan last week. Big Daddy C likes a bounce back. That's one of his Big Daddy C big plays of the week. He'll give you Penn State -4. I'll tell you what I like. Take that Penn State on the money line, -205. Parlay it with Rutgers on the money line, -175. My Play Tour X play birdie play of the week, and you might have a winning parlay right there. Big Daddy C likes Penn State. TCU, let's keep it with Big Daddy C. It's a shame he had those technical difficulties because I'm sure he had lots of insight on why he loved these 2 games. But this is the second big play of the week. He likes TCU laying 3.5 against Kansas State. TCU's offense is nothing to sneeze at. They have scored on everybody, and they have scored on them often all year long. Now laying 3.5 against the always frisky Kansas State Wildcats. He says it doesn't matter. Lay the 3.5 with TCU for his second Big Daddy C big play of the week. Pittsburgh at Louisville. Give me Louisville. I still don't believe Pittsburgh is very good. Louisville laying 2.5, just under a field goal at home. Over under 55. I like Louisville to get it done at home, and that will round out the college football segment of our program. Let me put up, as we go into break, the summary of our football plays, and I'll run over them real quick. Your host, Jason Nall, my Play Tour X birdie plays of the week. I like Tulane laying the 7 over Memphis. I think they roll. I like Rutgers on the money line laying 175. Big Daddy C1000, as I told you earlier, he likes Penn State -4. I say take Penn State -210 on the money line. Parlay it with my Rutgers money line, and you'll have a winner. He also likes TCU -3.5 against the Kansas State Wildcats. And Badlands Brandon, his parlay called in sick. We got nothing out of Badlands Brandon. Let's hope he's not real sick. But he was too sick to give us any plays this week. So we got a big goose egg for Badlands Brandon's plays. Don't go anywhere. We're going to catch a quick break, and we will be right back to dive into the NFL. Welcome back. It's your host, Jason Nall, and you've caught Nall or Nuthin, either on your FM dial on 101.3 The Buzz in Cleveland, Tennessee, or at WNWS TV at WNWS.com, or maybe on our YouTube channel. That's Nall, Nall, or Nuthin, Nuthin. Big Daddy C, you missed out on some of those football plays, but that's the glory of live entertainment here. We had to regroup. You back with me now? Still no volume from Big Daddy C. Big Daddy C, you just pipe up when you get those technical difficulties taken care of. I'm going to leave you up here on the screen. I got faith you're going to figure it out over there, and we will dive into the NFL. All right, Thursday night. Another tough game for the Amazon package. You know, Amazon Prime now running these Thursday night games. I think they've had one touchdown in the last 3 weeks. They may not get many more this week with New Orleans Saints. Who knows who's going to be at quarterback at the Arizona Cardinals, who couldn't score a touchdown against the Seahawks last week. Arizona -2 over under 44. I'll give you the Cardinals. I'll take them at home. I think it's a must-win game for Kingsbury. I understand that Kyler Murray probably doesn't care. He's got a long-term contract, and he's rich, rich, rich. But Kingsbury, his job's on the line. I'll take the Cardinals with the coach's job on the line. Sunday, Giants at the Jaguars. Jaguars laying 3 over under 42. Giants have been red hot. Red hot. And the Jaguars, they're being the Jaguars. Had a couple of unexpected wins, a couple of unexpected big efforts that didn't result in a win. And they're sitting there at 2-4. Give me the Jaguars. I like them at home. I think they'll find a way to beat the Giants. I don't think the Giants are quite as good as their record. Colts at Texans. Colts at Titans. That's the second time the Colts have faced the Titans this year. Second time already, and we're not even halfway through the NFL season, and we may have the AFC South decided right here. So I think I lean Titans at home. Probably a great game to watch. Maybe not the best game to bet, though. Over under 42.5. Let's go Titans. Titans -2. Falcons on fire. Undefeated against the spread this year. Covered every game. At the Bengals, who seem to be getting it right. Bengals are now laying 6 over under 47. I'll take the Bengals. I'll lay the 6. Here comes a Play Tour X, Birdie Play of the Week in the NFL. Let's get after it. Play Tour X, Birdie Play of the Week. I like the Lions. The Detroit Lions catching a touchdown at the now Dak-infused Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys played great under Cooper Rush, but can they keep it up when Dak comes back? I think maybe not. Maybe they lay the maybe they ease up a little bit. Think they got their starter back, and Detroit coming off a bye and absolutely getting hammered at New England 2 weeks ago. Just got the crap beat out of them by the New England Patriots. They had a bye week. I think they regroup, and I think they score enough points to be competitive here. Over under 49. Big Daddy C, I like the Lions. You're a Cowboys guy this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Cowboys can do it. I said let's fade Dak when he came back. So I guess I'll have to ride with you. I'm going to pull for your Detroit, and I'll take Detroit plus the 7.
Yep, give me the touchdown. Give me Detroit. The Green Bay Packers, we have been masters of fading the Packers this year. Masters. They are at the Commanders. Carson Wentz out 4 to 6 weeks with a thumb injury. Bring in Tyler Heineke, the backup, who was a starter at times over the last 2 seasons for the Commanders. Lined open to Green Bay -6. It's inching down. Green Bay -4.5 now. Big Daddy C says all the better for me because he likes the Packers to bounce back. What do you think, Big Daddy C?
Yeah, Washington's absolutely no good. They beat Chicago the other night, and I got on them just because I knew it was a good position you were getting off of them. But I really like Green Bay here. I think Green Bay's got to right the ship if they want to have any chance. So I think Green Bay will get it together, and they'll just simply outscore those Commanders.
Well, Green Bay couldn't muster but 10 against the Jets last week. You better hope they find some offense. Big Daddy C, he'll take the Packers -4.5 now. The Browns at Ravens, must-win game for the Ravens. Ravens laying 6.5, over under 45.5.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup too, but I'm going to take the Ravens in this one.
I think you could maybe tease those Ravens down using 6 points and take it down to just -0.5, or they just have to win the game. I do think they'll find a way to win the game. It is a rivalry game, though. Anything can happen. The Bucks, off one of the worst losses in years and maybe one of the worst losses of Tom Brady's historic career. They lost on the road as a 10-point favorite to Pittsburgh last week. Pittsburgh had looked terrible, and now they face another team that's looked terrible in the Carolina Panthers, and they're again laying over 10, Tampa minus 11, and what has to be the swan song now for Tom Brady. Do they bounce back against this Panthers team, which has their fourth string quarterback in?
Well, I saw a headline go across the internet today that said that the Bucks had a bunch more people that entered the injury list this week, so they could be really hurting for players. I think they get the win, but I think if you're playing the point spread, you got to take the 10 and hope Carolina keeps it close.
The red hot New York Jets, who got home for us last week against the Packers, now they're on the road for what turns out to be their fourth straight road game. Four straight. At the Denver Broncos. Broncos coming off a short week for Monday Night Football, where once again their offense stalled out. They couldn't score enough points to win the game. Broncos won over under a huge 38.
Yeah, I will not take the Broncos until they prove to me they can do something. So I'm taking the Jets here. It's Jets or nothing in this one.
I can't take the Jets again this week. 4 games in a row on the road, one of them being in London. That's a lot to ask. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet the Broncos with your money, Big Daddy C. Houston Texans at Las Vegas Raiders. Here comes another Big Daddy C power play, big play of the week. Tell me why you like the Raiders. Laying 7 over under 45.5.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are probably a lot better than their record shows, and I think being at home this weekend is going to help them. And I don't think Houston is as good as they've started out. They've got a few wins already, and I think that's probably going to be close to the win totals for the year. So I think the Raiders get it going here and pull this one off minus the 7.
He's at Big Daddy C 1000 on Twitter, at Big Daddy C 1000. And that is his final Big Daddy C 1000 big play of the week. Running on down the line, Chiefs at 49ers. 49ers catching a little under a field goal at home. Line opened at 3. It's inched toward the 49ers now. Chiefs 2.5, over under 48.5. Bonus play from me, Play Tour X play of the week. Bonus play. I like the over 48.5 in this game. I think the 49ers defense is this is the time of year when you can score on them. They've got the injury bug, and what's usually a very tough defense is a little shaky, maybe a lot shaky. And Kansas City, they didn't quite get the scoring mechanism going like most expected last week against the Bills. I think they will get it going this week. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. I didn't put it out as one of my Play Tour X birdie plays because I've been so bad with totals this year, Big Daddy C. Just horrible with totals. But I really like this one over. What do you see in this matchup between the Chiefs and the Niners?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I've been awful on the totals myself. I mean, totals. I don't think I've hit a total this year, so totals have just killed me this year. But I think me and you talked about this one earlier, and you kind of talked me into San Fran. I believe that being at home is going to help them, and Kansas City could just hit that stretch where they lose 2-3 in a row. I know they're a good team, but it just could be contagious with the loss last week and could follow them on the road this week. So I think I'll be taking San Fran in this one.
Yeah, I lean San Fran as well. San Fran and the over. Seahawks at Chargers. Chargers 6, over under 51.5. And that brings us to my final birdie play of the week. I like the Seahawks. I like them plus the 6. They're playing as good as they can play right now. Geno Smith has had a great year thus far, and they've really exceeded all expectations, and the Chargers are just hurt. They're banged up. They're hurt defensively and offensively. They struggled to score against Denver on Monday night, and it's a short week. I do think the Chargers will maybe find a way to win again like they did on Monday night, but I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the Seahawks. They're giving all world efforts right now. These Seahawks are. So I'm going to ride the Seahawks until they buck me. Had them last week. I'll take them again this week. And that's your final playtourx.org birdie play of the week. I'll take the points. I'll take the Seahawks. Steelers at the Dolphins, Big Daddy C. The Steelers pulled the big upset over the GOAT, Tom Brady, last week, but it was at home. Now the Dolphins, they get Tua back, and they're relatively healthy as long as Tua is okay when he steps back in. And that's a big spread. They're trying to scare you off, I think. Dolphins laying 7 over under 45. But you can't have too much recency bias. But that Pittsburgh win over the Bucks last week, it wasn't that long ago, just 2 weeks ago, that they were getting beat down in Buffalo 38-3.
Yeah. I don't particularly like Pittsburgh. I think they, being at home last week really helped them in that win. So I won't be taking Pittsburgh at all. I don't like them in this game.
And then that's your Sunday night game, Miami versus Pittsburgh, and a potential stinker for Monday night, the Bears at the Patriots, who might not see 100 passing yards combined between those two quarterbacks. There's going to be a lot of running the ball. The Patriots, however, they have found their groove. They're playing well, and they're laying 8 over under 40. Who do you like to close out the week on Monday Night Football, Big Daddy C?
Yeah, I think you got to stay on New England. It's got to be New England or nobody. I mean, they're hot. They're playing good. They got a few wins behind their back, and Chicago just looks awful, and they've been beat by everybody, and even the Commanders beat them. So I think you got to take New England or nobody here, lay the points, and New England gets the job done.
Belichick on Monday night, says Big Daddy C. All right, before we go to break, let's go over our NFL picks, our summary. Your host, Jason Nall. I like the Lions against the Cowboys. Give me the 7 points. Also like another dog. I'll take 6 points and the Seahawks at the crippled San Diego Chargers. Big Daddy C, he's on the favorites here. He likes the Packers -5, the Raiders -7, and Badlands Brandon, again, has called in sick. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll round out the show and we'll put together our show bets. Our show bets for the weekly DraftKings Pick'em Pool. Welcome back to the final segment of Nall or Nuthin. Going to go over a couple of things here. We're going to put our show bets together. The one bet that we still have alive and we're still trying to fight and get into the green, get into the pay line on is the DraftKings Pick'em. You would pick 5 games a week against the spread. Now we need to go 4 out of 5 or even 5 out of 5 this week to start catapulting ourselves up into the leaderboard. For that, here we're at the midway point of the season. I thought it was a good time to go back and talk about some of the stuff we talked about before the season started, Big Daddy. Some of our new listeners, we pick up listeners every week. Sports betting still new here in Tennessee. This is our 3rd year, but relatively new as an entertainment form. Some of the things we talk about, bet 1 unit, max risk 2 units, things like that. Let's talk about a unit. A unit is 5% of your bankroll. So if your bankroll is $1,000, 1 full unit would be $50. So if we really like a game, we're saying let's bet a full unit on it. If we're betting smaller money, we call it pizza money, which is less than or equal to $20, about what it costs for a pizza. So when we hear us talk about pizza money, we're talking about smaller bets, like $20. If we're talking about betting 1 unit or 2 units, we're talking about betting 5 to 10% of our bankroll. And I would recommend that the max bet ever be 10% of your bankroll because you got to live to see another day. Crazy things happen in sports betting. What do you think about that, Big Daddy C? Crazy things happen every once in a while, don't they?
Absolutely. It's not really crazy things as much as it's the unexpected, and things aren't always the same. One team might score 31 week and then get shut out the next. So you can't always go by past performances. It just seems to change up a lot, but that's all part of the game.
Definitely so. So keep those things in mind, and you'll have a longer run of it with your football season. If you had bet everything you had on Tampa Bay, saying they were going to, Tom Brady was going to kill Pittsburgh last week, well, you'd be out by now. So always remember the unexpected is likely to happen. No bets like show bets. We are going to talk about our show bets. Well, we got eliminated from the $1 million DraftKings Survivor Pool thanks to the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple weeks ago. We're still alive in the $1 million NFL season long pick'em. So let's try to pick 5 bets here for the pick'em, Big Daddy C. What jumps out to you? What do you want to have on the ticket this week?
Well, I think we can make this pretty easy and just throw in 4 right fast. We just take your 2 birdie plays and my 2 big bet plays, and that's 4 of them right there. 2 favorites and 2 dogs right there in the mix. And then we just got to come up with one more.
All right, I can live with that. So we'll take the Lions and the Seahawks. Lions +7, Seahawks +6. And then you've got the Packers -5 and the Raiders -7. All right, we need one more. So our candidate for the one more, I would put out
Well,
there. Go ahead.
Well, the other one I was going to put out is I really like Miami against Pittsburgh. I think Miami is a totally different team with Tua. I think they'll score a lot of points. Miami would be it for me.
All right, I can live with Miami. The one I'd put up there maybe is Arizona against the Saints in a must-win situation for Kingsbury on Thursday night. But we'd be asking Arizona to play better than they have the last 4 or 5 weeks when we're asking Miami just to play back to the level they were playing when Tua was there. So, yeah, let's go Tua. Let's go Miami -7.
Okay, well, that'll wrap that up. And I wanted to add, I don't know, I saw you put up my picks earlier for college when I was offline, but I also liked Louisville minus the 2.5 this week at home.
All right, I covered that game. I said I liked them as well. So you got both your host and your co-host like Louisville at home laying the 2.5 in college football. All right, so our show bets this week: Lions +7, Seahawks +6, Packers -5, Raiders -7, Dolphins -7. Let's hope we go 5-0 so we can move up that leaderboard. We're just barely over 500 right now, right, Big Daddy C?
Yeah, I think we're sitting at about 56%. And if we don't have a few weeks where we get 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, our season will be over early.
Yeah, I think we need to get north of 65% to hit getting the money. So let's start it this week. For Big Daddy C1000, I'm your host, Jason Nall. It has been our pleasure to discuss all things sports gambling with you this week. Best of luck out there. Play responsibly. October is not only Pink Month for breast cancer awareness, but it is also Responsible Gambling Month. Until next time, we are out of here.
I said, united we stand, in God we trust. There is no fear. United we stand, in God we trust. There is no fear. United we stand, in God we trust. There is no fear. There is no fear.